Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody doing well. Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. If you don't know what we do here, we basically look at stocks every single morning. That is really for those of you that are new or maybe joining us for the first time, but most of you guys have probably tuned in multiple times to the point where I wouldn't really have to say that. But if you're new, welcome. Good morning. My thoughts on YRIV. Probably something I wouldn't trade, but I'll take a quick peek for you. YRIV. Yes, something that I would not trade. So I'm going to have to go with over the past couple days, it was performing well. Or just yesterday. Okay. So yeah, yesterday it had a pretty good running day. Then it kind of crashed after hours. Probably something not to trade today. I'd probably be betting on the idea that it goes down. So I'd probably pass on that one. Okay. Tesla and Kronos. All right, guys. So what we need to discuss first and foremost, I don't even remember if I was on. Was I streaming yesterday? I don't even remember if I was on yesterday. I feel like I was, or was I not? Yeah, not sure if I did or didn't. I feel like I was on. I feel like I streamed yesterday. But anyways, if you guys were joining our stream, for the past week, or even yesterday or Monday, whatever day it was, we said that the market was getting ready to bounce right about here, right into this level. So yesterday ended up being the day where it bounced, and we had a strong bounce day. So all of your stocks, Tesla, Netflix, Facebook, pretty much all the big name stocks, they all had a really good day yesterday. So if you're thinking today, like, what about this stock? Or what about this stock? Or what about this one? Should I be watching Facebook long or AMD long? Well, you have to be able to determine which stocks yesterday moved based off of catalyst or which ones moved based off of market movement. That's what you have to do. So I can tell you right now, most stocks yesterday were moving solely based on the fact that the market was having a really strong day. All right. So again, going into this morning for me was like, okay, well, market's up a little bit, had a strong run. Maybe we get some continuation today. So my initial thought was watch stocks long. But now the jobs report came out, and it looks like the jobs report numbers are extremely terrible. So we're starting to see a little bit of a drag down here in the market. So now I'm kind of like on the fence. So now that we're starting to get some of this economic news and data coming in, I'm more of on like the sidelines for today, kind of sitting back. There's one stock particularly that I like the most. All right. So to take a step back, let's look at the market. Okay. We can say it safely has bounced off of its previous structured system right here, or bounce spot. Boom. Now that it's done that, we're basically right back into trend, right? Trend line resistance. So we're still kind of on some type of trend line resistance, trying to break over it. So I'm not sold on the idea of buying and trying to swing this bounce up towards previous highs. I actually think we're going to see the market kind of hang out here for maybe today, tomorrow, and then we're going to go for a move back down, back lower. So with the idea of us since we bounced so strong, what we're most likely going to do is we're most likely going to see the markets probably hang out within this zone, in this area, for the next day here, maybe tomorrow. And then it's going to resume back into its downtrend to either put in a higher low formation and then squeeze up, or it's going to put in some channel trading wedge, break down, and then we're going to start channeling into a descending triangle pattern, where thereafter, if we don't get some strong economic dated news to bring us back up, we're going to snap down, and then we're going to presume back into a new breakdown. So I don't expect that we're going to be breaking down. We shouldn't break down 274 this week. I would say next week is when we're probably going to be looking at maybe snapping below the 274 low, if it even wants to. So Again, I think this next week of trading, we're going to see more of a kind of chop market, something like this, right? Something where we had a bounce, right? Then we had a pullback, random day, kind of dropped out, choppy day, choppy day, choppy day. Then we're starting to get movement, right? So I think we're going to see a couple days of consolidation, basically throughout Thursday, Friday, and into Monday, all right? Don, what's up, man? SPY to the floor. Yep, SPY bouncing right now, but nonetheless, I think we're in a bear market right now, or starting of a bear market. Actually, Josh, that's funny you said that. I'm actually going to make a video today. I have been slacking hard with making videos. I've just been kind of on like a whole vacation break. Basically once the nice weather rolled around, I started drinking a little more and enjoying myself. And I just really been taking days off of not wanting to work as much on YouTube. So I've been doing that lately. It's been nice, but told myself that today's the day where you get back into high gear. So probably going to have some more videos coming. I got a video coming on gold, silver, the market, and some things to pay attention to. So pretty much going back into work mode now. And that's a nice thing when you work for yourself. You can kind of pick and choose when you want to kick it into high gear and take the foot off the gas pedal. So anyways, got a video coming on gold. So you're kind of right about that, Josh. Yes. Anyone playing AMD? JK trading? I'm doing well. Nothing happens to your options if you're in an option trade, right, and you own a call or own a put, nothing happens when your option reaches your strike price. Nothing. You still own the option. That's it. That's basically it. I mean, there's things that happen behind the scenes, but I mean, it's not like you're going to lose your option or someone's going to steal your option or your option's worthless or your option's worth more. It doesn't mean any of those. It could mean sometimes some of those, but that's just it. If your option reaches your strike price, I mean, it's just reached your strike price. That's it. A strike price, when you pick an option, your strike price is really just, in simple terms, when I buy an option, I am buying an option contract, and within that contract, I have chosen the $300 strike price. That $300 strike price has now been chiseled in stone in that contract that is my strike price. Your strike price, there's more to it, but that's the general thing, is that your strike price is the stoned in price point in which you have put on your option contract. Okay, remember, options are contracts between you and the writer, right? And then that can get way more in depth and go down farther down a rabbit hole that we don't even have time for. So let's hop into AMD and then I'll continue going over some questions. All right, so next one here is AMD. So not going to lie, this is an AMD, excuse me. Not going to lie, I got shook out a little bit yesterday, but either way, it was still a good trade, but, this is a shoulda, woulda, coulda situation. But anyways, I was swing long yesterday. Yesterday and the day before. But anyways, entered 500 shares here, like right in this zone day before, excuse me. So on Monday? Yeah, on Monday, entered 500 shares here. Then I added another 3,000 shares here, like right at market close. And then I swung those 3,500 shares overnight and then sold them out basically on this early morning panic wash. And then, of course, it ended up ripping. So, all in all, if I didn't sell, it would have been like a $7,000, $8,000, maybe even a $12,000 trade. But again, I don't live by shouldas because the likelihood of me holding those 3,500 shares all the way throughout that, it wouldn't have happened. I would have sold some here or here. So again, that's why I'm trying not to play the shoulda game. But anyways, AMD ends up ripping. Strong news. We basically, and I'm not going to say I called it because I hate saying, I called it. Cause that's just because you're wrong all the time too. So it's like, I don't think any stock traders at this point in time should be saying I called it or I told you so. It's like, again, a broken clock's right a couple times a day. But from my experience, I've seen things like this quite often. So I felt comfortable swing trading AMD, right? On the day it spiked, right? You're all familiar just on, so this is Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. On Monday, AMD skyrockets pre-market. Deal with Samsung, blah, blah, blah. And then it crashes. Like, why on earth would it crash or give back all of its gains on a day in which it just says it got a deal with Samsung, right? And then late day, it gets news with like Apple. It doesn't make sense. It's a shakeout, right? They're shaking the tree, seeing what apples will fall from the tree, right? The strong apples will hold tight to the tree limbs and they're not going to get shaken out. But the weak apples and the small little berries and fruits that don't have a strong hold and they're weak are going to get shaken out of their play and they'll drop off the tree. Is what they were doing. They're shaking out investors, shaking out the weak investors on Monday to run the price up Tuesday. And I was pretty positive that's what was going on. So that's why I started longing in the bottom of this to swing overnight. And so nonetheless, ended up being close to a $3,000 trade. So it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. So what's going on? All right, so today, if you look yearly chart, 4-hour chart, doesn't really matter. Just get a good time frame there to look back far enough. You will see that AMD just recently, well, today, not recently, today, broke over 30 bucks. We've been struggling to get over these points for quite some time, and now we're finally getting up and over. So I think it's wise to probably start with more of a bullish mentality for AMD since we're breaking 30. And AMD is a stock that not only was following market movement, right? Like I said earlier, determine which stocks are following market movement and which ones are following catalyst movement. AMD not only was following from bullish market movements yesterday, but it's on its own warpath because they got a deal with Samsung, a partnership deal with Samsung, and a deal with Apple in which they're going to start producing, or Apple is solely going to use AMD's parts for their MacBook Pros and maybe a few other parts or computers. I might have to double check that, but it for sure going to be using them in all their new MacBook Pros. So AMD is moving on news catalysts, not just market movement. So I think even if the market has a slightly bearish day or a choppy day, we still might see fluent movement out of AMD. So that's why I'm going to be keeping AMD on watch today, long bias initially. I think there's still some money to be made here, okay? Let's see what else we got going on here. Yep, and as Jack said there, Jack Rizzi, yep, he's absolutely right. To the gentleman asking about the strike price, like again, I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, but basically, if you own contracts and option trade, and then your contracts or options are in the money, you can let them expire, and the option writer is then going to have to issue you or give you his 100 shares of whatever underlying security it is that you're trading the options on. That's basically it. So as long as you're above your strike and you're in the money, then you can let your options expire, and then you can take the 100 shares of the company that you're trading the option on, or if you don't want the 100 shares, then you can just sell or get rid of or close out your option trade and take the profit that you made. GME, not going to play GME. I don't want to say that. GME has been a short play for a long time now, but I'm not going to trade GameStop. I should be an actor. Thanks for the money, not a trader. No, you can be a lot of things. And nope, that what Juan said here. Just nothing against you, Juan Manuel, gentleman here. So I don't want anybody getting some false information here. Juan said you need to sell your options before expiration if in the money, and that is actually false. You don't have to sell your options before expiration if in the money. If you would like, you can sell them when they're in the money and take the profit that you've made off the trade, or you can keep them until expiration if in the money. It's the other way around. You have to sell them before expiration if not in the money. But if you are in the money, then you can keep them until expiration. Good opportunity for a put would most a good opportunity, Mr. Brooks. I would probably get some options, probably priced a couple months out, maybe 1 month, 2 months out on the market. And so we're bouncing right now. So I'd start probably buying maybe 1 or 2 contracts 2 months out or something in the market. And that way you give yourself a lot of time, and the market's most likely going to retrace a bit off this high bounce we're seeing, a little bit. So at some point, you'll probably find your options in the money if you go further enough out. But if you go with just a couple days, then you might get kind of shook around. And so, again, I would probably be a little bearish on the market for the next 2 months, right? Just for at least for a retrace move. What's going on, Mr. Own the Chaos and Don Fran? Crazy to see you boys here. Hanging out, not moving any markets, but moving the boy. Checks in. Talk about Tesla, please. Tesla's on the bottom. Tesla hit lows of 178, starting to bounce again. I was actually kind of on the opposite side. I think I was bearish yesterday until the market started ripping, and then I changed that real quick on Tesla. But for me, Tesla's at a low point. Shorting Tesla now after the bounce yesterday puts you at a higher risk. So I would still be now I kind of want to flip to the bullish side of Tesla because we are at lows of about 178. There's been a lot of people shorting it. There's still a lot of unexercised options. Personally, I'd probably start changing bias for the next week, maybe 2, to short squeeze on Tesla, then maybe back to trending down. A couple years, Sabian for consistency. Dan, no. Hold on 1 second. Where Dan? Someone said something about an option. Where'd you go? Dan, to ask Dan the man Manuni, something like that. Sorry, bud. But to answer your question about, so the potential for the 100 shares can be worth more than your option profit, and sometimes better. That's really like yes and no, but really no. Not really. No, more oftentimes than not, if you let options expire in the money, you're going to be making generally the same profit you would if you just sold the options, right? If you just if, for example, let's say I traded one contract of Netflix long, bought a bullish. Let's say I buy one contract of Netflix, right? So I'm long Netflix with an option call. It's in the money. It expires today. Let's say I'm up $100 profit on the option, and I'm like, screw it, I'll let it expire, and then I'll have the option writer issue me the 100 shares. So now option expires, I get 100 shares of Netflix, right? So now I have 100 shares of Netflix, right? So you do the math, 100 shares of Netflix when Netflix is priced at $300 or something, that's $30,000, right? So now your account is, in theory, credited the $30,000, right? You have the 100 shares. So if you go to sell Netflix right away, your profit's still only going to be that that $100, if that makes sense, right? But if Netflix were to go up another point, then you would have made $100 more on the share. So it goes both ways, right? You could sell the option for $100 profit, or you get written the shares. Now you own the actual shares, and if you went out and sold the actual shares, you'd still be making the same amount of profit. But if the next day you hold those shares and and Netflix drops 5 points or whatever it may be, now you're at a loss. Right? You actually just lost money. So it goes both ways.